Have you ever wondered what Paul really meant when he called the church the body of Christ? Most of us are taught it's about unity and keeping the community together. But what if it's actually about something much more radical? Today, I want to offer a perspective that challenges the status quo and asks, is the body of Christ about belonging or about something more than that? It is about becoming. I'm Suk Kim, author of the debut book, Christ's Body in Corinth, The Politics of a Metaphor, in which I argued vehemently that the body of Christ, the metaphor, should be read as Christ-like a body or community, simply Christic life or Christic community or Christic living. That book, which I wrote 20 years ago, still making sense to me. Some people appreciate. That claim saves everything, I'll say in the next few minutes. Let's first the standard or traditional reading of the body of Christ. The standard reading treats the church as an organism, so the body of Christ is read as an organism. Different parts with different functions, all working together. It emphasizes order, role, and cohesion, which can be helpful for maintaining the community. So much so you hear phrases like every member has a place, or we are one body, we belong to Christ. That model stresses unity and mutual dependence. There is nothing wrong, but simply the question is whether Paul meant that organism model of the body of Christ as a metaphor. Now let's look at the organism model which can be co-opted. When unity becomes the highest value, it can enforce conformity and marginalize difference. That's the issue. On the slide on the left side, you see in-group conformity. Here unity means we all fit. That's a nice thing. But the problem is there is a center. And people walk around the center, which is the head, which controls everything. It's pretty much hierarchical model. So the risks are very clear. Social control over gospel compassion, policing boundaries, and sometimes excluding those who don't conform. These are risks in this model if you think, right, the body of Christ as in-group and conformity model. So pretty strong sense of unity. But on the right side, the diversity and radical welcome. Here in the community, many gifts are celebrated, so the diversity is the point. With one spirit, but there are many gifts. Also, radical welcome is always important. See the picture here, people or members making a circle without the center. All people walk side by side, whoever they are. They are forming a community without the center. So here the point is the emphasis on gospel compassion over social control and embodying welcome. Whoever they are, all are freely welcomed into the community. Also, the emphasis is faithful discipleship as the goal. Belongingness is not the goal of the community. It is the result of the community. So if you follow the strict unity model of the body of Christ, the danger is you can turn the church into an exclusive in-group, policing boundaries instead of embodying radical welcome. I've seen this in interpretations that make belonging the goal rather than faithful discipleship. That is my concern. Now, let me introduce my alternative interpretation. I read the body of Christ as Cristic. Here, Cristic means Christ-like body, or Christ-like living, or Christ-like community. So the body of Christ as Christic, as a community formed or informed by and oriented to Christ's faithfulness. We have to look at Christ's faithfulness, what he did, what he sacrificed, what implications we can draw from his work and his love. That shifts our focus from institutional belonging to union with Christ's way of life. Christ's way of life, his faithfulness, his sacrificial love, solidarity with the vulnerable, and faithful witness. It's not primarily about who is in the club or the church, but it's about who is being shaped by Christ's pattern. Think of it as a lived, embodied discipleship rather than a membership category like emphasizing the metaphorical organism. The unity model is not the focus in this alternative interpretation. Consider one another. Paul's call to identify with the crucified Christ, which is a huge theme, especially in the First Corinthians letter. Paul emphasizes again and again. The bedrock of his theology is based on the crucified Christ. That identification reshapes how communities practice justice, mercy, and mutual care. We are reminded of Galatians 2:20 when we are thinking about the body of Christ in this sense. He says, I have been crucified with Christ, and it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Christian community is formed by Christ, oriented to Christ's faithfulness, which is the hallmark of Paul's discovery of theology in a deeper sense. A people whose identity is united with Christ's way of life, union with Christ. That is the whole thing about Paul's theology in my alternative interpretation. This is the end of my presentation. If you want to go deeper, you certainly can subscribe to my channel or like it or share this video. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. If this really helped, like and share. In short, read the body of Christ not primarily as an organizational unity or metaphorical organism, but as a Christic formation. This is the key word, Christic formation. A community or your life must be informed by Christ's faithfulness. Certainly, you might want to check out my book, Christ's Body in Corinth, which is my debut book. You certainly go to find a lot of resources on my blog. You can Google my name. And also, I have another channel which is called Dr. Kim's Biblical Studies channel. Lots of resources, small videos are out there you can certainly check out. Again, thanks for watching and God bless you. Hope to see you next time.